from the Crypt.
Hello, boys and ghouls. Welcome to episode 105 of Dads from the Crypt, Tales from the Crypt podcast. My name is Jason. I'm joined by Mondo.
Hello.
Hello. And our good friend Rachel is back from the Zombie Grrlz.
Hi. Thank you so much for letting me come back.
You're breaking down our doors to come back.
I've been like at the podcast studio window, like, hello.
The virtual window.
They let me in like a vampire.
You're just showing up with your bean chili recipes.
See, they don't know. The listeners don't know that you have been trolling me for 48 hours about this. Like, I had to go into like a deep state of contemplation and meditation, and I found a bean recipe to share with the audience. And it was all a lie.
Okay, give them the I'm assuming most of our listeners listen to BGH, but just for those who haven't, you were on their Meg 2 episode, and someone asked whether chili should have beans or not. I think that was that the question? Something along those lines.
And beans are blasphemy. They are disgusting sacks of goo. They are not meant for human consumption unless they are a chickpea. Yeah, then we can have a hummus conversation.
Like a hummus, yeah.
Yeah, but not a fan of beans. So when you sent me the thing, like, you need your baked bean recipe, because usually there's something to prepare for this, I was like, okay, I got to figure this out. I got to be a good guest.
Oh no.
So I thought about it. I looked up recipes, I prepared, and then I got on, and then I watched the episode thinking, oh, clearly there's some legume related plot.
Yeah.
Only to find out that nary a legume.
Well, I figured you just were on that episode and you get the joke.
Yeah.
I mean, when you live in a system of terrorizing beans, you never know where the enemies are hiding or where it's coming from. So I wrongfully assumed I could trust you, Jason.
Okay. Oh yes, that was your first mistake.
I know, going back, I know the idea that beans don't belong in chili. I like beans in my chili. I know it's blasphemy, but I like it. Unless on a hot dog. On a hot dog, it should be just chili.
Yeah, so that's my thing. It's what is the application of the chili? Are we talking a bowl of chili, on chili cheese fries, or on the hot dog? I'm okay with some beans if I'm just eating a bowl of chili, maybe with some cornbread. Okay, fine. If it's on a hot dog or on fries, no, meat only. That's my take.
Yep.
And
definitely meat.
Have you guys ever been to a chili cook-off?
I have. Yeah,
either participated in one or tasted them at one. I always love it because you'll have like the older guy who just fucking knocked it out of the park, and it's like ground beef that he got from, that he found at Walmart.
It was in a shopping cart somebody left in the parking lot.
Exactly. He just found the meat, like some stuff he had left over in his fridge, and it'll be this killer chili, and someone that like got wild boar meat from wherever wild boars hang around, and like coyote squash, like these just crazy exotic ingredients, and I'm like, this is just garbage. This is garbage chili. Give me that fucking old man's food and stuff chili. Like
the one that like burns a hole in your belly later that night.
I do like, if you can make a super hot and spicy chili, but the key is you have to use peppers that are flavorful. You can't just drop peppers in it just to make it hot. Like, I love habanero. I think habanero is super flavorful, but you can definitely cross a line to where all you taste is just heat and don't get any of the flavor and that kind of stuff. So it's very important, if you're going to put a lot of peppers and chilies in your chili, that you
your dad advice on the top of the show.
That's good dad advice.
I like chili. I haven't had chili in forever now. I want to make some chili. It's 120 degrees out here. It's not chilly weather.
It's not chilly weather.
No,
I will literally eat soup every day. I love soup so much. I'll eat soup every day of the week. So I shouldn't say it. I could totally eat chili.
I made a pot roast, like gravy and everything in the Instant Pot today.
Oh yes,
always comes
excellent.
out great. I love it,
dude. Instant Pots are like they're a great cooking tool. We had stew today, 2 days ago. That's what my wife made it in, was in the Instant Pot.
Yes.
All you need is an Instant Pot and an air fryer, and you are officially a chef as far as I'm concerned.
We just got I don't know if I talked about it. We just got an air fryer a couple of weeks ago. And
they are amazing. Amazing. Yeah. I have baked in my air fryer. It is like, who turns on an oven anymore? What is it? 1950?
Yeah. Your air fryer in the oven.
Yeah.
Dude, pizza rolls, Tostino. I don't eat carbs anymore, but Tostino pizza rolls in the freaking air fryer, amazing. Leftover pizza in the air fryer,
Yeah,
game changer.
so good.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
much to it. Broccoli.
Yes.
If you like broccoli, get the head of broccoli, cut that shit in half, like crisp it up in there. Oh, it's so
Hell
good.
yeah. Brussels sprouts, they get
Yep.
nice and crispy. Ooh, so good. Now I'm hungry. You gotta talk about food at the end of the show, not at the top of the show.
There and then another life update. I got my Crypt Keeper tattoo a couple days ago.
Amazing.
Show Jason. Put that leg up.
I don't know if I can get my leg all the way up.
I want to
into
see you
the camera.
showgirl like kick that leg up real high.
Maybe I'll put like a picture over the video. But that was an experience. I don't know if I'd do it again, but it was an experience.
It wasn't a first tattoo, was it?
It was,
a first?
yeah.
Really? And
Yeah.
placement wise, what part of the leg,
Just,
and
like,
where
lower
is that on
calf.
the pain threshold? As far as like, did you hit ankle? What was going
like
on?
the like not on the shin, to the right of the shin. So between the shin
Okay.
and the back calf muscle.
Okay.
So that kind of
all
flat
right.
part, which is kind of what I liked. It's weird because I can't see it like completely all straight on,
Uh-huh.
but my wife says it looks good.
Well,
The kids
I
like
mean-
it. No, I haven't had a chance to show it to anyone else.
You don't look at it in the mirror and be like, yeah, that's cool. You just
Yeah,
paint the
okay,
guy and
yeah.
assume it'd be okay.
Well, it's still like got that wrapping around it. We just changed it today. So it's still like, doing its thing.
What they give you, Saniderm? They would Saniderm on
Yeah.
it, or just
Yeah. And they told me to change it after 2 days and put another
Yeah.
one on.
nice.
Yeah, it felt like someone was like pulling hairs really hard, at least at first. And I was just
Mhm.
like, the whole experience felt like going to the dentist, where I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm here, I'm just gonna like try to get out of my head
Yeah.
and just let it happen.
How long did it take?
It's about an hour and a half, a
Well,
little
that's not
more.
too bad.
Yeah,
Not too bad. And is it done, or was it just like the outline and you're going back
it
to
was
shading?
yeah, it was done. It's
Oh.
black and white, there's lost some shading and stuff, so it wasn't like no color or anything. Nothing that's gonna take that long, not that big.
So, like-
Jason sent us updates, and I wasn't sure if they were like, is he just? I think he's just nervous and was like, oh, it feels like this. They're doing this now.
Yeah, I know. I was like live.
Oh my
Because
god!
I was like, I needed like to get my mind off of it. I couldn't just sit there and be with it.
Yeah, that would have been great Patreon content. I'm just saying.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
just
we could've-
saying. Opportunity lost.
Oh yeah, that
Set
would
up
be
a
cool.
cam, live cam.
Yes.
If you don't live cam it, just like a time lapse would have been pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Or even just a live tweet or X, whatever we're saying now.
No.
Like of the
No, we don't say that.
sensations.
Forever Twitter.
Oh, speaking of X, we can get that to a minute, but like there's some funny going on there. But yeah, Jason, hour and a half's not too bad though. That's good. That's a good time for tattoo.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a good first tattoo. Like I think for my pinhead, I think we did like 10 hours that day, but he was
Wow.
going slow, and we were taking a break every 2.5 hours or so. But it was
Mhm.
still like, fuck, why am I?
That's still hairy.
I can't do that.
Usually I'm 4 hours max, and I'm good for
Yeah.
the next session. Depending on what we're doing, obviously. I let my tattoo artist decide when he's done.
Yeah. Oh, here's the best thing. So of course my tattoo artist is a horror fan. So we're talking movies and stuff. So everyone knows one of my favorite all-time movies is Sleepaway Camp. His dad took him to see Sleepaway Camp, and he was in the 9th grade.
That's awesome.
Like,
Parenting.
I know. He said him and his dad just kind of looked at each other awkwardly at the end, like, okay.
So you're coming to Vegas for the Joe Bob's Jamboree then, because that's like the big sleepaway camp
I know.
tribute.
But yeah. So, and also like we might go on like on a movie date or something, a movie man date together. Who knows?
Hey, dude,
Made a
my tattoo artist and I became friends. We became good friends, so it happened.
Oh.
I mean, you spend like quality time together, and you're
Oh,
like
yeah, it's kinda
kind of
intimate.
trauma bonding a little bit.
Yeah.
A lot of
I mean,
endorphins being released.
He's the only person aside from my wife that's ever shaved my body. So like it's pretty intimate.
Another
when-
Patreon opportunity.
Yes. I guess
No,
Mondo's
sorry,
never
not-
had a hernia surgery, but
I've never had a hernia surgery, but I haven't had my chest shaved by my oh wait, I got a vasectomy too. So there was that. That was
take your vasectomy doctor
That's
out.
some intimate shaving. Yes. Mhm,
yeah,
that
but I was
counts.
asleep. I was asleep for that. They asked like, do you want to go to sleep? I'm like, yeah, yes I do.
Definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it. Tonight we are talking season 7, episode 5, Tales from the Crypt, that came out on May 24th, 1996. Horror in the Nights. Jody is having some weather-related internet issues, so Mondo is going to attempt to synopsize.
All right, so here's what I have to say in my defense. Whenever I have to do a synopsis, I've nailed like one synopsis because that's what I knew I had to do in advance and actually typed out my synopsis beforehand. So I usually find out I'm doing this when the show starts, and I have no time to write out a bunch of notes. So here goes nothing. The basis of this story is we open up to the Crypt Keeper with a really cool spaceship set. I love that set piece. And he's basically talking about flying off in outer space as only the Crypt Keeper can, with all his wonderful puns.
Dressed as an astronaut.
And I can't tell, but like it looks like his co-pilot is just a brain and a helmet.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can't tell if he has a body or not. So I thought that was pretty cool. But what this basically is you have a criminal, Nick. Is that his name? See, I'm already fucking this up.
Nick.
Yeah, Nick.
Believe in yourself. You had it.
He was basically he basically gets hired by I guess a mob boss or whatever to rob this place of jewels, and then he gets double crossed by his partner, and they basically shoot him and take off. And he now is trying to seek refuge with these jewels that he has. So he hobbles his way, or actually he drives to a seedy motel. He checks in, he makes sure he gives the guy cash, says don't tell anybody I was here, and then he goes to his room. And then once he gets in that room, crazy shit starts happening. That's pretty much what happened.
I mean, that is accurate.
Well, he meets a woman. He goes down. So after he checks his hotel, what I love is he goes to check in his hotel, and the first thing he does is he's in shot, but the first thing he does is open up his case and like starts playing with all the jewels he has in there, and then realizes, oh shit, that's right, I was shot, and then opens up his shirt to reveal this horrifying wound. Not horrifying, but I guess anytime you got shot, that'd be a horrifying wound, right? Like there's no nice way to put being shot. Like it sucks. I imagine. And then he goes downstairs and he meets this woman and he passes out. And he wakes up and he's in bed. And then he has these series of, I guess you can call them hallucinations, where things start getting crazier and crazier. A lot of very Shining-esque kind of stuff going on in this hotel, where at some point he has blood dripping from the pipes and blood. Like, first of all, I thought it was urine at first coming out of the radiator. I'm like, that makes no sense. That's got to be blood. Like, why the radiator be peeing? But the radiator putting blood out. And then he envisions himself having sex with this woman he met. And she turns into this crazy fucking demon, and like she's sucking on his bullet wound. Yes. How did I not catch that before?
Yeah.
If you're not watching on video, you should be, because you can see Rachel with the cool demon wings behind her. And then like these tentacles start coming out of his body, like some Lovecraftian horror. And then there's like this yellow goo, which I'm colorblind, but yellow greenish goo that reminded me of like when I had a baby and had to change a diaper. Not a fun color you ever want to see in your life. If you see that color anywhere in your house, it's not a good day. Like it's just not a good day. If you painted your walls that, you're a psychopath. So that's all there is to it. But and then he wakes up from all this. And he's frantically another cool scene. He's frantically searching. He's kind of going crazy. They do all kinds of really cool stuff with this. By like the first day when the girl takes him back to his room, he goes to leave the room, but he notices it's still locked from the inside. He doesn't even notice that, but he has to unlock the door. Then he notices every room is 305, which is his room. And I wonder if that number has some sort of symbolic meaning that I didn't catch, which is the usual part. But then the very end is basically the mobsters he double crossed coming into his room and killing him or shooting him. But then it kind of twists out of the dream world into the real world. And this is where I kind of got lost. So you guys need to explain this ending to me. So like they basically shot him, but he was already dead when they got there.
No, I think they shot him, but I guess that was the same place he killed the woman 5 years before that. So he happened to go to the same place in his hallucinatory state where he shot the other woman. And if you notice that the room went from like a clean, somewhat presentable room to like this graffitied, marked up, dilapidated room in the quote real world. So I guess who was in his when he was shot, he was like in a shock or whatever. So he went to this one place they was familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman was the ghost or his vision of the other woman that he killed 5 years, I think they said.
Because the whole
It
part,
doesn't-
I thought
not
they were
very
both
clear.
ghosts. I thought they were both ghosts. I thought that he just died on his way to the hotel because you also saw that bellhop all the time, and the bellhop always had that ghoulish face.
Yeah.
Have you noticed his whenever he had like linens with them, they're all bloody.
Mhm.
Yeah. Except for that, we find out the way they found that he was there was some mysterious woman called them. So
Yeah, so the
Okay.
woman's a ghost. So the logic in this one doesn't really,
no.
I don't know, doesn't really hold up.
Yeah.
But okay. So thank you, Mondo. Rachel, what do you think of this episode?
I did my best.
You did
You did.
great. You did
Thank you.
great. So, okay, I agree with you that some of the logic does not hold, but I actually really enjoyed this episode. I love a noir sort of film noir with a horror twist. That is a combination that I enjoy very much, and I don't think we have very many of, and we should have more of them. Elizabeth McGovern is sort of our femme fatale in this, and she's such a classic beauty. She's perfectly cast in this role. If anything, I just wish there was more of that. I know that the director is kind of known for using some noir elements in his filmmaking, and I wish he had really played with the lighting and we got a little bit more of her camping it up. But overall, I really liked her. You've mentioned there's some great visual moments. There's some great body horror in this that goes, it's sort of like film noir meets Poe meets Lovecraft, and so that's
like
pretty
that.
fun. And I like the Laura character. I kind of feel like is meant to be a little bit of an homage to that film Laura. You know, there's like that same element of is she alive, is she dead, and like being sort of trapped in this room, and the guns and all those things feel like homages to that film. It has the most aggressive dry humping I've seen in a very long time, so
Yes.
points for that, because we do see the tidy whities.
It looked like painful dry humping, like
Yeah, that did
Yeah.
not look pleasurable.
like someone need to go to the ER
Wait,
after that.
that's not how you're supposed to do it. Ooh, I have some uncomfortable conversations to have tonight.
That's like high school level dry humping.
dude,
Yes.
if you're doing that in high school, like you still are not okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely a lot of ideas kind of like smooshed together, but I think it has a lot of style and I had a lot of fun with it. I think my only real critique is that it didn't really feel like a Tales from the Crypt episode to me, because it didn't have that element of dark humor that I associate with it. But you guys would know, you're the experts. I've only seen a handful of episodes. Just the ones that I've seen have always had this very like tongue-in-cheek black humor that I appreciate.
Yeah,
Those are-
this felt very much like the British crime noir that was very popular in the late 90s, that like I think like Reservoir Dogs kind of made very popular. Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels. What's the one with Brad Pitt as the
Snatch.
Snatch,
Yeah.
yeah. So it felt like they're
Snatch.
kind of emulating that and trying to make it Tales from the Crypt by putting a bunch of body horror, surrealistic stuff, and it doesn't quite come together. Like I think this is one of the episodes where the parts don't come together to make the sum better. They kind of detract because they're also different. Yeah, the whole, like, okay, you got a little bit of a crime opening, you got this kind of twist ending, but then there's weird shit happens in the middle. That's kind of the whole episode. It doesn't really flow together very cohesively, and the ending is just kind of overly confusing. If anything, it needs to be, it's one of those things, this is one of those script episodes where it either needs to be shorter or an hour longer. Like if you wanted to make like a whole, like you can make a whole backstory to this guy and like everything that happened, or you get rid of the backstory and just make it more straightforward. It's kind of in the middle where there's not enough backstory, but you also don't need the backstory per se, or you can like really simplify. I feel like it's almost too ambitious with some of those ideas. But you can only base it on what it is. But you mentioned again Elizabeth McGovern. Is she, I know her as from Downton Abbey as cousin Cora. So that's always, it's always fun to see actors actresses that you recognize, you know, many years
And
later.
bringing up lighting, I really love how the first half of the episode they kind of block her eyes out. Her eyes are always has a shadow over her eyes, and I really like the way they did that. Like I said, that noir style.
Yeah.
So Nick is from Gosford's Park. And the other guy that kind of double crosses him, his name is Ronan Vibert. He was in the classic Dracula Untold. If anybody remembers that movie.
Okay.
And also in the same vein, Shadow of the Vampire, which is excellent movie.
Yeah, Shadow of the Vampire is cool.
But is also directed by, so this episode is directed by Russell Mulcahy, who's kind of behind the new Teen Wolf show and movie, the MTV version. He also directed Highlander 1, Highlander 2. He did the Resident Evil movie. He also did The Shadow. Again, Billy Zane. And then he did a ton of music videos, especially in the 80s, with people like Billy Joel, Queen, Boy George, Duran Duran. He was one of the very first like out music video directors and just filmmakers in general for making all those. He also, I think, might be tied for the most Tales from the Crypt episodes anyone's ever directed. This is his 4th. So he did Split Second, the Lumberjack episode, People Who Live in Brass Hearses, the Brad Dourif and Bill Paxton episode, and also Let the Punishment Fit the Crime, one with what's her name from Schitt's Creek?
Picture her face, but I can't tell you.
Catherine.
Oh my god, I'm blanking on it. But the mother from Schitt's Creek. I'm blanking on this.
Catherine
O'Hara. Yeah. That's actually a really good episode. Rachel, you should check that episode. You'd like it.
And which one was that one? What was it called?
Let the Punishment Fit the Crime.
All right. That's writing it down.
Yeah, it's a really good episode.
That's a good one.
And also this week I did an interview with Russell Mulcahy. So I'll be out this week. I interviewed him like over a month ago just because his schedule was open. So we just went for it. So I've been sitting on it for like almost over a month.
Hey man, don't pull the curtain back. You don't have to tell people that. Just act like it's free.
I know. So
now we're gonna have to listen to his thoughts that are 30 days old now. I mean, come on.
Yeah. But again, really cool guy, Rachel. You should check him out. It'd be up your alley.
Yeah, I mean, I looked up all of his music videos after
so many,
and there were some. I mean, there are some bangers in here. But when I saw "Pour Some Sugar on Me," I was like, hell yeah!
No way, that's awesome.
Yeah, we think about Outman directing the Motley Crue and "Pour Some Sugar on Me," like that's awesome.
I mean, he directed the first music video that ever played on MTV.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. I forgot about that part, but yes.
Hold
on, so did you just say Motley Crue?
Did I say Motley Crue?
You did.
I did not say Motley Crue.
No, Jason said that's not.
Who did that video?
That's not a Motley Crue song.
No.
Who did Pour Some Sugar on Me?
Def Leppard.
Yeah.
No.
What? Yes, 1,000,000%.
Okay.
Come on, are you trying to question me on?
If we're wrong, if we're right,
yeah, okay.
You have to have our faces tattooed on your other leg.
Okay. All right, Mondo, what are your other thoughts on this episode?
Oh yeah, no, I think you guys I kind of went through. I actually like this episode. Like, I mean, as much as I was kind of saying it got convoluted towards the end, I still really enjoyed like Rachel pointed out, I love the noir style of it. I love the body horror. It was nice. I feel like this season has been so void of anything really creepy, to be honest with you. It's been a lot of whodunits this season, or a lot of just not much horror. And this episode kind of turned that on its head, and I really love those nightmarish dreamscapes. It reminded me of when I had MRSA and was waking up randomly in sweats in a hotel room in Minnesota. Like that's how I felt every time I woke up. I almost got flashbacks to that. Like it really made me uncomfortable in a good way. I mean, in the best way possible. So yeah, I was a fan of this, but I do think acting wise, the female lead was much better than the male lead.
Yeah,
like they have at first when she's kind of rubbing up on him and touching him. Like I don't know if there's ever been like more unsexy sexual chemistry of all time. He just looks generally like annoyed, like he's trying to hold in a fart. Like that's what it looks like. He was completely uninterested in the situation, and so I really wasn't a big fan of the male lead in this, but he still did okay. But I thought the female lead was phenomenal in this episode. But yeah, I think so far I would probably say strongest episode of season 7 so far. And maybe it's recency bias, I don't know, but I did watch it today after a long work day and a 35-minute drive home in the heat, and I still enjoyed it. So usually that's immediately like a recipe for wanting to hate something.
Right. I definitely agree. This is the most horror of the episodes of the season so far.
And the image in the bed with the tentacles and the goo, that will stick with me. That's such great visual.
Yeah.
I can agree
Yeah.
with that.
I mean,
All right,
there's a handful of moments in this, I think, that are like genuinely cool visuals. Like even him running through the halls and when he sees that all the room numbers are the same number, like all of those, that kind of sort of dream logic that's happening right there, I found really compelling. I was like super tired. I'd been unpacking all day and I was like kind of getting a little sleepy about midway through it. And then that like the end, as much as it doesn't make sense, like the bang is at the end and I was like, oh, I'm awake now. I'm wide awake. There are tentacles. Yeah, I am into this.
she's in the tentacles.
Well, you've heard it
Yeah,
here, so it must be true.
Yeah, there is kind of that slow build, and then like out of nowhere is that insane sex scene. So well done.
Yeah.
And then you brought up when you see all the room numbers, they did that overhead with the camera, like kind of going into the hallway. That was really, really cool too.
Yeah. I mean, he uses a lot of really interesting shots. Like he plays with like Dutch angles a lot and like his camera placement like really adds to the feeling of uncanniness. Like I think we can sort of pick apart the plot or the story, but in terms of the actual filmmaking, he does really have a clear sort of voiciness that I really appreciated in the episode.
Yeah. Okay. You're raising my opinion of this a little bit. It's just, it irks me when something's like, was this a dream? No, this is a dream. No, this is a dream. It's like dream upon dream upon dream, which
That's
like
fair.
when you look, it's like when you watch Nightmare on Elm Street movies, like sometimes they can be a little too much with their, oh, it was a dream. Oh, it was also a dream. This is also a dream. Like they can stack up and you're like, okay, at some point it loses the effect.
Well, and also loses its stakes. Like if you're like, this is just another dream than a dream, like who gives a shit? Yeah.
So like I think the good Nightmare, I don't know if she's doing like, don't do that too much. Like they know when to like pull one on you, but they also know like, okay, no, we're really here, you know. Mondo's shaking his head for besmirching any
which are
Nightmare
the
on
bad
Elm Street movie.
ones? Yeah, which are the bad ones that do that, Jason?
5, definitely. There's way too many like dream within dreams on that one.
Is this the last episode of Tales From The Crypt?
Might be.
Am I here for the end?
Don't talk ill of Freddy's Dead. We'll be okay.
Nah,
which we covered on Zombie Grrlz with Rachel Tellier.
You introduced that movie to me, and I am a fan because of you.
Damn right.
5 is probably my least favorite. 5 is probably my least favorite, but I don't mind the dream within the dream stuff because to me that's just horrifying to think you're out of the dream and you wake up. It's like, God damn it! Like, and they make that joke in Freddy's Dead when he's like, nothing in the world is gonna make me leave this bed, and then the light's on fire, and he's like, damn it.
So that was good. Though. That was a good. Yeah. That was a good use.
No, I mean, I love Freddy's Dead because Freddy's Dead has that beautiful. Like you brought up, Rachel, how this episode didn't have that classic Tales camp.
Yeah.
Which also, I do think Tales is at its best when it's balancing that campiness and that goofiness with the horror, which they really haven't done at all in season 7. Just to let you know, they really haven't done that at all. But I thought Freddy's Dead could have been a long Tales to Crypt episode.
Oh yeah,
and that the best way possible because they balance like that horror with they more camp than horror in that one, obviously, but still. Like the stuff let's start reviewing Freddy's Dead again.
Yeah, I know. It's like John Waters meets David Lynch. That it's like a mashup of those two.
Okay, I like that.
All right, let's talk about the comic. The comic very different, but there's like some DNA somewhere. So basically, you have a guy who runs an inn of some sort or some like out like group of cabins, not what you call it. It says tourist cabins, and he has a really bad vision or dream of these couple that check in for the night, and he is like overhearing them talking, and the woman is very distressed, very like out of it, and he hears the husband saying, okay honey, good night, I gave you your drugs so you'll just sleep through the night. But the woman wakes up and sees a cat and then attacks the cat and is freaked out and kills the cat. So definitely not a Rachel comp. It doesn't show it, but basically the husband is so distraught that he ends up killing his wife and then he shoots himself. But right before he shoots himself, he's saying, oh my God, I'm sorry that you've gone insane ever since a cat killed our baby, and ever since then you've like anytime you see an animal, especially a cat, you go crazy. You even tried to jump in the grave with the baby during the funeral. So I guess that was her trauma, yada yada yada. So this guy, so again, the innkeeper is kind of like overhearing this or having a vision of this, but then he wakes up And then he's like telling his friend about this crazy vision he had. And then, of course, the last panel is the exact same couple showing up. So we don't know whether he's in a loop or he's having a premonition, but it's the same couple happening. So that's kind of it.
Sounds like a real feel good
Yeah,
issue of Vault of Horror there.
I know.
Yeah, that I don't know that you could make something less for me. It's a combination of cat murder and female hysteria.
Exactly.
You must have
hardest
dead
it
babies,
passes.
dead cats,
Yeah.
suicide. Like Jesus Christ.
I know. This is from Vault of Horror. I don't have the actual information. So
Issue 1, I think.
issue 1. Okay, yeah.
Issue 1, yeah.
It's got a fun little picture of a guy on was it the rack where they like lay you out with your hands up and your legs down.
That'd be the rack.
Yeah.
Which I've always stated would probably feel really good for like half a second. Like you hit that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Like everything would just be stretched out. Like and
It's
it's
the
Just
original
popping and
chiropractor.
cracking.
yeah. You'd be like, you know what? This is terrible. Oh, right there. Right there.
Yeah,
My body
exactly.
has never
Just
felt
hold
better in the history of being alive. And then about a minute later, life would just suck again.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, one of my favorite cinematic moments is Bill and Ted when they're in the medieval times and they see, the Iron Maiden device. And they go, Iron Maiden. Gets me every time.
I haven't seen that in a million years. I think I need to revisit.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. And the new one, Face of Music, is really good too.
Yeah,
I
was
really
impressed
liked
by that,
it.
I loved it.
That
I
was
loved it
like
too.
early pandemic serotonin. I was like
Yes.
so desperate
Yeah.
for any joy. And I was like, this is the greatest movie that's ever made.
Spoiler.
I feel alive.
And if you haven't seen it yet, I'm just gonna spoil it so you can fast forward 20 seconds. But when they meet Rufus's daughter, I was like, when they did a tribute to Rufus and Carlin, I was like, oh.
I liked when
Also,
was it the robot? It turns out to be good or something. That was really funny.
as a
was
Barry
good.
fan, to see him show up on there was very, very excited. What is it? NoHo Hank. as
Oh
the
yes.
robot. Yeah. I was like, this movie is a perfect film. 10 out
It's
of
the
10.
perfect film.
Speaking of which, Barry, like if you aren't watching Barry, you guys should all be watching Barry. Like one of the best shows ever on TV.
Ever.
Four
Mhm. Agreed.
seasons, and like holy shit, does it go places I didn't expect?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yep. It's an excellent series.
All
It is not a feel-good show in the end. I'll put it that way.
All right, let's do our episode rating. We do 0 to 5 being the best, 0 being the worst. You can do half points. Rachel, you're on the spot.
Sure. I would give this a 3.5. I think this is like, it is, it is not a perfect, like, it's not the Tim Curry episode. Okay. But it is, which is in my opinion, a perfect episode, but I enjoyed it. I think that it has memorable visual moments that like I will always associate with this, that like when I see Bleeding Walls, I will compare it to this. I think these are some of the best Bleeding Walls I've ever seen. And Elizabeth McGovern is super great and hot as the femme fatale. So 3 out of 3.5 for moi.
I
Mando.
was bouncing between 3.5 and 4. And whenever I do that, I have to go lower. I always have to go lower because I don't think I think I almost give it a 4 based on what I've watched so far this season. Which when I look back, when I think of some of the episodes I give a 4 to, which I don't remember them all, but I feel like they're better than this one. And it's not a knock on this episode at all, but like Rachel said, a lot of cool visuals. I always love the trope too, where blood's just dripping from the ceiling and the person has to look up at it. I love that trope.
Yeah.
That one never gets old for me. Like I know it's gonna, like an alien when it happens. I'm like, yes. Like I know it's gonna happen. I still love it. So 3.5, which means it's a good episode. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. You definitely raised my opinion, but I'm still going with a 3. It's probably like 2.5 before we even started. It's just compounding plot wise, and that just means a lot to me. I need logic.
I think if it has stuck the ending just a little bit better, then I probably would have gone 4. But the ending, like I had to rewind it a couple times. Like, what the fuck did I just miss?
Yeah, but I think from a filmmaker's perspective, it's very solid. So I think that's what gets the 3 for me. But also, and again, outside of, there's only like 3 characters, but when only one of the 3 is really bringing much, that kind of brings it down a little bit too.
Yeah.
But, okay, and now we're gonna kick it over to our Uncle Al, and we're back. Mondo, give us your song of the day.
Has Al ever listened to one of our episodes and been like, I can't believe you didn't like that episode? of Tales from the Crypt?
No, because trust me, he sees more flaws as someone who actually was there making these than anyone else. So he'll be the first to like self-criticize.
Yeah, I can't remember what episode it was, but we're actually being very kind to it and saying, even though it wasn't a good episode, I think Al's comment was, "What can we say about this episode? But it stunk." I was like,
well, I mean,
I
again,
didn't hate it.
He's usually not talking about the merits of the episode itself, but the experience of making it. So sometimes the experience of making something can be really shitty as versus the final product.
Yeah, I can see that. Just wondering. We always appreciate Al with his insight into the episode. It's always fun stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I have nothing that relates to the episode today because I just wanted to call out an album that I am absolutely in love with, and it's an album I'm gonna pick a song off, but I can't really pick a song off it because I use this as like when I was young, I hated Pink Floyd. If you guys love Pink Floyd, I'm really sorry. I'm getting now I love them. I'm getting to where I like them because I always hear fucking Money. Comfortably Numb on the radio and Wish You Were Here on the radio. Those are only 3 songs, and The Wall. Only songs you heard on the radio, right?
Yeah, when you have the same song shoved down your throat, you're gonna.
But then I was at a back before it didn't cost $8,000 to buy used records, and I bought like an original copy of Wish You Were Here because it was like $5. So I bought it and I put it on the record player. I'll give it a shot. And listen to I started listening to the album. I had to sit down and finish the album because it was that good.
Yeah.
Because it's like one of those albums where it's even to a good book and just said, "Hey, I love this book," and someone else took it from you and just read chapter 3, they might be like, "Eh." But once you see that chapter in obviously with the rest of the chapters combined, I think that's how Pink Floyd works. Like I think I don't think their music works as singles. I think it works as albums. Yeah. And I'm gonna say the same thing about this band. So the band they go by DHG or Dodheimsgard. Which I'll probably butcher that name. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but the first 2 records, please bear with me because the first record is also in Norwegian, which is Kronet til Kanga, came out like early 90s and was just straight like that early Norway second wave black metal sound, just aggressive as all hell. Then they came out.
Just sounds like drugs that Joe Rogan takes.
Yeah, I'm looking at the band right now, and I have no clue how to say that name.
I can always think of Joe Rogan going like, "Oh man, so tell me about this harsh black metal sound. How do I get it? Do I inject it in my anus? Like, what do I do?" What do I do?
The answer is yes.
Then they came out with a record, and they came out with Monumental Possession, which is again more second wave black metal, and then the Satanic Art EP. And then they said, "All right, fuck it," and they wrote an album called 666 International, which was a melding of just straight industrial with a tinge of black metal to it. Really, I think it's funny because I think when that album was came out, I was young at the time, is back in '99, and the internet wasn't as prominent, but a lot of people shit all over it because it wasn't what they wanted out of it. And I think it's one of those records that over time, it's still not a favorite of mine. Don't get me wrong, because I'm not a big fan of that industrial sound, the over the top industrial sound. Like I had to see Ministry and they opened for Slayer, and that was when I went and got a beer and took a bathroom break. And not a knock on Ministry, just not my cup of tea. Same thing with Primus. Primus live
sucks. They suck.
Really?
They're
suck
so
live.
Bad.
They're terrible live.
Terrible. And
that kills me.
Phenomenally talented. Here's what I'll tell you: if you like jam bands, go see Primus. If you're like me and you just I don't need to hear a 15 fucking minute version of John the Fisherman with 3 bass solos. I just don't need to hear it.
Excuse me.
Yeah, exactly. If that's your thing, Jason, if that got you turgid, then you should go you should go see Primus live. But for me, I'm like, no, get me the fuck out of this concert. But anyhow, they would do these 2 albums, that one and then Supervillain Outcast, and I haven't heard A Umbra Omega, so I can't speak on that one. But they were more like of the industrial kind of theme varieties. And this year, so the funny thing is, after 666 International, it was like 8 or 9 years the next album, like 8 or 9 years for the album after that. And now it's 2023, so they just put out a new record called Black Medium Current. And I heard people buzzing about it, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll just buy the vinyl because I'm stupid and like wasting money. So I bought my 401k is and all these vinyl fucking records, basically. When I retire, I hope these are worth something.
Hope they can turn it into a coffin.
Hey, there we go. There's always a silver lining. But the new record, is phenomenal. It's this fusion of harsher black metal with this industrial sound that's not overwhelming, but is just a compliment to everything else. And then you have this like weird jazz stuff going on. like these jazz patches and like some saxophone and some horns in there, and it just all fucking works. And I don't know if like an individual track, like if I told you, because they're long tracks, if I said listen to track one, yeah, I think you'd get it. But when you listen to the whole album and the way it all just meshes together perfectly. So because it is song of the week and an album of the week, I will pick a song off it, and I'll just pick the first song because it's 10 minutes long. I think it's a great representation of the record. It's called Et Smelter. Just know it's track one, dude. This is why I don't remember song titles, because these fucking bands and their weird song titles. But yeah, definitely check out the record, Black Medium Current by Dad Heimsgard from our friends in Norway. Highly recommended. My album of the year right now.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And we're late in the year. That's not like a January like bold statement. We're touching up against fall. It's
good. Like it's kind of rare nowadays that I'll give. I know, like, it always blows me away when people are like, "Oh yeah, I had to listen to this record like 9 times before it clicked." I'm like, if it takes 9 times for a record to click with me, then I think it's just not a great record. Like I shouldn't have to. I think there's movies we've all watched, right? And said like, man, that movie was, I don't know if I liked it. I need to watch it again. And you watch it again. And sometimes the second time, like, oh, I picked up this and now I'm really into it. Mm-hmm. I think a record, you can do that too. But I think usually a record will give me a reason to want to go back to it. Like, man, I listened to that album and I don't know if I love it, but something about it makes you want to go back to it. This one, I just listened to it like 4 times in a row. So I know just keep fucking putting this in my ear holes because I love it so much. There's cello on it. There's theremin. Like, ugh. It's just so good. So highly recommended to even people that don't like really black metal. I think if you kind of dig industrial or just want to hear, everyone seems to be into off the wall music nowadays. So if there's an off the wall music, maybe give it a listen. And if you like it, cool. If you don't, I don't know. Still give us a 5-star rating on iTunes.
I love the life cycle of an album that you love. Like usually there's like a, maybe not in this case, but like a single or something. You're like, I got to have this album for this. Yeah. And then you listen to it. And then there are like songs that you maybe disregard, but over time you like find new favorites. I feel like there is a journey that you go on with an album that rarely is the song you like to begin with, the one you like. It's like the one you're like, by the end, and you found the deeper cuts that you're like, now this is the true song. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I got into Motorhead basically because everyone knew Ace of Spades, knew all their hits. Yeah. Then I started buying the records and really diving into their deep cuts, and I'm like, holy shit, this is good. Like Lemmy was an awesome songwriter that probably never got the credit he deserved, because a lot of that stuff is hidden in those deep cuts, and it's so fun to discover that from a band, like especially when all you know is the hits, and suddenly you're diving in, you're like, why do more people not appreciate these certain songs?
Right. Yep. It's the only sort of medium that you have that experience with, really. Yeah. Like you either like a movie or you don't. You're not like, well, I like this hour or minute 36 through 37, but originally I liked minutes 43 through, you know what I mean? It's specific to music and appreciating music. It's unlike anything else.
And I know nowadays you see a lot of bands doing EPs and doing a lot of singles. Like some bands I've noticed some artists are just releasing singles nowadays because I think more so in our everything at our fingertips society, it's hard to get someone to sit down and listen to a whole album. So I almost wonder, like, I think it's discouraging a lot of musicians from really writing that full complete album. So like when you do find those, I think they're almost like a hidden gem nowadays, kind of when you have a full, complete, awesome album start to finish.
Definitely.
And that's not a knock on the musicians themselves. It's like, if you're making money because you're releasing singles, like, dude, you got to make money, man. Dude, make a living.
But also totally varies by genre, like especially now, like with metal and doom and all this stuff, it's the songs are getting longer and longer and longer, and it is almost just like a one operatic piece, whereas like pop albums, those are singles are fine, EPs are fine, but
in the digital age, it's all singles.
I always feel like it's like a reaction to that, like the way that music is now, like in like heavy music, like it's all pretty, I don't know, not singly. Let's just say that. Like you're not going to put on a Ghost album and be like, go to track number 4. Like it's a whole.
The new stuff, I don't know, but
okay, fair, fine. You know what I'm saying.
I know what you mean. No, I told Opus Eponymous, in my opinion, is a perfect record from start to finish, and no one can. I will fight anyone to the death over that. I know exactly what you mean, and I think it was especially now because metal was never really radio friendly. So, I don't think there's ever that pressure to put out the hit, even though like obviously Black Sabbath had that pressure, like Metallica did, Megadeth, I'm sure did, Ozzy, Motorhead, the bigger bands had that pressure to put out those radio hits. But like, Dodheim's Guard is not going to be on the radio anytime soon. Yeah. And if they do get on the radio in Norway, there's like 10 people that live there. So it just gets all 10
Yeah.
But it's a much smaller, it's much, And I think it's Finland that has like more black metal bands per like, for every 5 people is one black metal band or something. Like I don't know.
Wow.
That's their greatest export
number. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still a weird thing where like if you talk to, especially like it's kind of funny because older people don't think this way, but a lot of the young kids that are coming up and discovering like this early black metal stuff who don't like, as you get, and they're kind of glorifying it. When as you get older, you realize it was just bored rich kids. And even the guys that are in the scene nowadays will be like, yeah, we were just fucking young and dumb and bored. But it's kind of funny. But a lot of the youths in Europe that are into metal, like they fucking like hate American black metal. They say like, oh, Americans don't do it right. They can't.
That's not true. I mean, that's the truth from the beginning. Though, like true black Norwegian black metal.
So, meanwhile, you have fucking Dark Throne releasing an album with Fenris ice skating on the front of it. I'm like, I love it so much. Take the piss out of the genre.
I remember when like Phil Anselmo started a black metal band. I was like, and I'm out. We're done. We're done here.
Did you ever hear? Well, did you ever hear the one he did, Viking Crown?
Yeah.
It wasn't the worst thing I've ever heard, but it wasn't good either.
It's not the worst thing, but I was just like, oh, come on, man.
He's a problematic guy. That said a lot of, and to his, what I will give him credit for though, is anytime he's done something stupid, he's at least been like, I'm a fucking idiot. Don't fucking listen to me. I'm trying to be better. But still
good.
Though. But still,
are his fans listening? Is the question.
No. Sadly, no.
Well,
but he also was in a band called Necrophagia, which is a cool band. Very, very horror themed, and they did like their first EP is Holocaust de Mort. Second one was a Black Blood Vomitorium, and the first song is About the Beyond. And they did the Cannibal Holocaust EP, and then they kicked him out of the band. And for the better, because it went from being like this grindy, like death grind stuff to they brought in Mirai, who played with Psy, who's a Japanese black metal band, and really cool because you can definitely hear the Japanese and the Asian influence in his music. It's awesome. Shout out to my old guitar player Louis, who has his own project called Tear Stain, and he's a classically trained guitarist from China, and you can definitely hear his Asian influences guitar playing. I'm not just saying it because he's a close friend of mine, but the guy's a phenomenal guitar player. You guys should check out Tear Stain if anybody's on. Louis, I love you. I hate the name of your band. He knows that, but and they brought him in, and then it turned into like being more like woven pieces of like it went from being sounding more metal, but like metal that could be behind a horror movie soundtrack. And if anybody out there's any interest in this, the one song I would say that kind of encapsulates that, encompasses that sound would be they have a song called Paradise Eve. I think based off the video game and the Japanese horror film. That they have this weird little synth that plays throughout it that's just creepy as hell and is just chef's kiss. So song number 2, Parasite Eve by Necrophagia. Everybody check that song out. That was post Phil Anselmo. So if you don't want to support anything Phil Anselmo did, you won't be.
Thank you,
and I don't blame anyone that does not want to support him. Trust me, it's
all right. Jody's not here for horror news, but I did find something that we don't talk about wrestling often on this podcast, but I saw a headline and maybe Mono can explain it to me. AEW holding the first ever Texas Chainsaw Massacre Death Match Championship.
Yes. So it's a tie-in with the video game, and it's probably going to be a cinematic match, meaning it's just going to be over the top and goofy and look like a movie. Like the Hardy brothers have done that in recent years. They've done these great, like, even if you don't like pro wrestling, you just seek out like the Hardy compound cinematic matches because they're just fucking ridiculous and over the top. Like he gets drowned in a lake and comes out as a different person because it's a lake of reincarnation. What? And there's a whole thread with how much he loves green beans. And he goes like on this big monologue and goes, because we have to save the greatest crop in the world, the greatest vegetable in the world, the green beans. Like it's so fucking ridiculous. It's just goofiness. It's gonna be just plain goofy. It's gonna be just straight goofiness.
So it's just the tie-in with. So it's a tie-in with the video games.
Tie-in with the video game, yeah. Tie-in with the video game. It is like 55-year-old Jeff Jarrett versus broken down like 45-year-old, I think almost 50-year-old Matt Hardy. It's gonna be completely just cinematic bullshit. It's gonna be fun. But the game does come out on Thursday, I do believe. I
Okay.
played the beta of it, and it is really cool. Did you play, Rachel?
What I was doing before I came on here was playing.
Really?
Yeah, I was playing it with a friend of mine who's a games journalist, and
Nice.
when I got to play it, it was fun, but there was not a lot of people who had keys, so
Yeah.
matchmaking was tough. But the actual game, in terms of like the atmosphere of it, is pretty dead on. It's a lot more fun to be the Sawyers than it is the captives.
That's what I
but
found when I played like the Friday 13th game. Like,
Dude,
yeah.
this is even scarier though, because like I guess I can give away a little bit. They start you out in the basement all the time, and basically within 2 seconds, you're a fucking chainsaw coming at you, and then your butthole is pucker for the next 10 minutes. Like, it is just the game is actually legit scary. I think it has great atmosphere. It's not my style of game. Those asymmetrical games just don't do it for me. They really don't.
I agree.
But I do think it's going to have its own. I do think it's going to find a good home. I do think people are really going to enjoy it if they dig into it. I think it's going to be an Xbox Game Pass as well. So if you guys have Game Pass, it'll be a free download.
That's the way to do it. Because I mean, I tend to get excited about these. Like, I got really excited about the Evil Dead game.
Yeah.
And then when I actually sat down to play it, I was like,
And I get it, right? Because especially playing your friends, there's teamwork involved and all that. But what I don't like about it is I just don't like that pressure on me. Like, I have to do my role as, no, I just want to go be able to pause a game and go get a drink of water, or if I just zone out for a minute, I don't want to have to worry about anything. So
I think that's
they give me
I hate to
anxiety.
say it, but generational thing. We're just used to like a single player. I'm doing my thing. Don't have to worry about other people. Some other jackass going off on his own.
Well, Well, I think I like games where you do have an objective goal and you're trying to get to them as a team. But for some reason, like with these asymmetrical ones, I mean the other piece too is like, they're very stressful.
So stressful.
They're very stressful. And I do think the other problem with them is that a lot of them are very limited on your maps, limited on your characters. So it gets to a point that once you've done, and Friday 13th is the same way. Once you've played it a dozen times, you've kind of seen almost everything. And then which is still a fun game, don't get me wrong, but they do have their home, and there are people that absolutely, Dead by Daylight is perfect example as to the power and the staying power. Evil Dead's been doing really, really well too. So I think it's do great. I did read somewhere, and maybe I'm wrong, that they're going to put a single player kind of campaign into it.
I mean, they were talking about that for a while,
which would be cool.
In what? In the TCM?
One of the two, either TCM or Evil Dead, and I don't remember.
I thought Evil Dead, but I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, that'd be cool. I mean, it's really fun when you're the demon, when you're like the Kandarian demon. That game is awesome. But when you're just like, that's the problem, is finding the balance too of like making the game fun all the time. It's so uneven oftentimes. I don't know.
Yeah, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre is definitely uneven. Like, if you play as the Sawyers, you're definitely overpowered compared to and which is, I guess, how it should be though, because if you're a survivor, you're bleeding to death. You don't feel very good. It should be a little bit tougher for the survivors, but it is definitely biased. Like, I think you're gonna see what you're gonna see in a lot of games. I hate to say this, is people realizing they're a survivor and they're just gonna exit the game, which happened a lot in Friday the 13th. People weren't Jason; they would just exit the game.
Yeah.
All right, just go over to our Patreon poll of the week. Would you rather be 11 feet tall or 9 inches tall? Pretty much everyone that voted said 11 feet. Tommy said 11 feet. I don't want to have to wake up worrying every day about being stepped on or carried away by a neighborhood cat. Also, it'd probably be pretty easy to get a job in the NBA or WWE at 11 feet.
Counterpoint, you could take a nap on your cat. So.
I'm going 9 inches because, dude, like you're not gonna eat very much, right? So I'll try not to make a lewd joke out of that.
There's a lady present.
I'm not making a lewd joke.
I know.
You wouldn't eat very much, so that'd be cheap. You could poop, or you could just poop wherever you wanted. Like who's gonna care? It's a little rat drop, and those things they have rats. You could just you could just sleep anywhere. You chill wherever you want. You could I could fight my cat. My cat's an asshole. Like, I could fight my cat and no one would be mad at me for fighting a cat, because it'll only be 9 inches tall. Like, we'd have a 50-50 shot of who wins that one.
Imagine if you're 9 inches tall and you have your NECA figures lined up. You just have use them as punching bags.
Why do I want to punch my NECA figures? I want to hang out with them.
or hang out with it wherever you want to do, whatever
Dude.
you want to do with them on your private time.
Dude, you could just be tired, and like you could just like, Jason, you just put me in your pocket. You just walk to the store with me. Like, I just hang out in Jason's pocket.
Pocket Mondo.
Exactly.
The number one gift this year at Christmas is a
See?
pocket Mondo.
See, so 9 inches sounds pretty good, right, Jason?
I'm not one to
Would you prefer 12?
Today we find out if Jason is a size queen.
I'm gonna leave you in suspense on that, on my size queen status. As someone who's already like over 6 feet tall, like what's another 5 feet, I guess. Like I'm already hitting
What's another 45% of my body?
like I'm already hitting my head on like every, like I already have like scars on like the back of my head from hitting it.
So,
Fun
but if you're
stuff,
11
so.
feet tall, right? You couldn't drive a car. You bet that guy in The Simpsons, you have to put your head out the sunroof or whatever to
I
drive
have-
a car.
Spoiler alert, you can't at 9 inches either.
However, imagine if you had to fly in an airplane. You could just buy one ticket, and again, I just hang out in your carry-on luggage. Whereas if you're imagine trying to fly in an airplane at 11 feet tall, like you'd have to like sit in the fetal position, like in your chair. You'd probably be very sore by the time you got to your destination.
That's true.
Then again,
got me on flights.
With your stride, you probably just walk wherever you want to walk. So,
But you're
there's
also
that.
11 feet tall, so you're flying private. Let's be honest. If you're the 11-foot tall
You can afford to
person,
fly private, yeah.
you
I-
know,
I-
like
I don't think so. I feel like if you're 11 feet tall, you're getting dissected by scientists. You're going to be in some government research program.
I'm sure if
Whereas
you're
I'll-
9 inches tall, you're gonna get
I'm just gonna be
dissected
well,
by,
they're not gonna be able to find me because I'll be hiding in the bushes.
get dissected by a raccoon.
Hey man, like I think be shot. First of all, 9 inches tall is not that short. How tall is a raccoon? Like 12 inches? I'm sure I could fight a raccoon.
I would love to see. Chuck
I
Norris.
like that all of this is based around who you can out punch.
Well, no, I already said the
Think about who you can fight you can fight a giraffe at 11 feet tall.
11 feet
I already
tall, you
said-
can fight
already-
Shaq.
No, well, no, at 11 feet tall though, I feel like I don't have to fight things. At 9 inches tall, I feel like it would be a fight for survival. Like, you know what I mean? Like I have to like again, I'm sure what's gonna happen is me and my cat are gonna get into it. One of us is gonna be the alpha in the situation. This is how it's gonna be. Like my dogs are
I
cool as
mean-
shit. We'd be friends. My cat might fuck me up. I don't know. He might murk me up in that situation. He has claws. I don't. But I feel like
Bold
9
of you
fuck-
to assume that you're the alpha now.
Oh, I'm not. Oh, with my cats, I probably am with my cats. Only because I sound like I hate my cats. I don't hate my cats. I like cats. I just wish I didn't have cats because it's a yeah. I wish I got suckered into both these cats.
Aw.
One was one I was supposed to keep for like a month while my friend found a new
Mhm.
place to live. That was 11 years. That's sorry, that was 12 years ago, 13 years ago.
Mhm,
The other one, my mother-in-law's cat had kittens. That was like 13 years ago, and I somehow got suckered into that cat. They're perfectly fine. I'm talking shit about them. They're perfectly fine cats. Yeah, but they're but I do make sure they understand that like they just have to know that I don't care about them as much as I care about the dogs. That I do. They can know I love them, but they also have to know if a fire breaks out in the house, I'm rescuing the dogs and they're on their own. Hey, I'm being
Whoa.
honest to them. Sorry, like if I have time to go back in and get them, I will. But they're the afterthought after the dogs.
It's terrible.
Rachel's face right now is
Should I save the
priceless.
cats? Should I save the cats before the dogs?
All of the above.
No, that's the goal. That
I'm
is
just
the
thinking
goal.
of like Pee Wee Herman. I can't remember which movie it is, but where he's like there's a pet stop on fire. He's just running out with all the snakes and stuff.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah.
My goal would be to save all the animals. That's my goal. But if I can only save two, that's Abby and Freya, because those are my babies, and I would die for them. I would go back into the fire for the cats. But again, also, if you open the door and there's a fire in the house and the cats don't run out, that's on them, kind of, right? Let's be honest, right? Am I right? I'm right on this one. Like, if you open the front door, if I open the front door now and there's no fire, the cats run outside. So if I open the door and there is a fire, they'd also still run outside. I'm just saying, I love my dogs more. than I love my-
Listen, you can't unring this bell, Mon. You
Hey.
said what you said.
Hey, I'm just saying, I love my cats. I love my dogs more. I'm not afraid to admit that. And if someone else is like, man, I would save my cats and then save my pet caterpillar, I'd get that. For the record, I would try to save my cats after I save my dogs. But I've also told my wife that if the fire breaks out and she has to save somebody of the house, she saves all the animals before she worries about me, because I don't want to live and not have my animals live.
Wow.
Because that would fuck me up for a long time, thinking like I got saved and my animals didn't get saved. But
Like
the
a
cats,
special bracelet for like a DNR for pet owners.
no, I want to be DNR'd if I make
Not
it
rescue.
out, but I'd rather have my dog saved, my cat saved than me, because like I'm a human being with, you know.
I'm just like picturing you throwing your cats into the fire to like
I said
free
the
them
opposite. I just said I didn't say I wasn't going to try to
fanning the
save
fire
Like,
to let the cat dogs through.
they're trying to exit. I'm trying to close the
You're
door
just,
where
like,
they get out.
using them like a blanket to try to put out the fire.
Just twirling them around to create a wind tunnel.
I don't know why I just pictured like someone trying to put a fire out with a cat. I'm like, that'd be the dumbest thing in the world, right? Like, I know I'll throw a cat into this. It'll stop the fire. Like,
I hate this conversation. Can we talk about beans?
yes.
Okay, Rachel, give us some dad advice, please. Just change the subject.
I mean,
I almost said, I
find
was almost gonna
yourself
say-
someone who loves you like Mondo loves his dogs, but not his cats.
First of
my
all,
dad
I never
advice.
said I didn't love the cats. I just said I didn't love them as much as the dogs. That's just, I mean, so if your house burned down, you'd have to think, who am I saving first, right?
Mhm.
My first instinct is gonna be my wife and my dogs.
Mhm. Oh, the wife made the list this time. Okay,
Oh.
good.
After the dogs. She knows that. She knows the dogs are first. Because she's also in the same boat of like, no, like you go save our babies first and then come back for me. You know what? I just hope I never have to. Now I'm like getting.
I
sweaty
really
thinking
hope
about
for
what would I
your
actually
cat's
do now
sake
in this
alone.
scenario.
For
And-
the sake of your cats, I hope you never have to make this Sophie's choice. that
And
you've
if you ever
already
and if you want to know the
preemptively.
the funny thing about this is my cats are fucking outside cats 90% of the time anyways. They'd already be outside. They'd probably set the fire.
Now you think they didn't hear this?
Dude, first of all, my cat tries to knock all my shit over all the time because they're just mischievous little buggers. I'm just gonna put it.
I know, it's so cute. I love
But
it.
then she sleeps on me and I'm like, God damn, I hate you so much. I'm just gonna fucking squeeze you and love you and pet you.
See, I mean, like dogs, they're so easy. You know what I mean? They just like you have to work to make a cat love you. I feel like,
No, this is true. Like cats are not a dog's like, hi, you're a human. Well, I love you now. And a
Yeah.
cat is like, oh, you're a human. Yeah, we'll talk maybe.
yeah.
Maybe.
So when they do love you, like that's meaningful, right? Right? I don't know.
I'm not gonna put
I
that much
respect-
effort.
I respect.
I'll take the easy love from a dog.
I respect this. But what I do about cats, though, if you just talk to cats, they just assume you're their friends.
Yeah.
Like you can say
I mean-
whatever you want to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
they
don't
just
know.
see your
I have very sweet, lovey cats. So like, I mean, I know other people do not have this experience, but like to me, I get unconditional love from my little cats. And so the idea of leaving them behind is shocking. Shocking.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want. I would. I'm not gonna lie. I would be devastated, but I would still be like, if it came down to my dogs or my cats, like, and I can only have 2 arms, I'm gonna go back in. I'm gonna go back in and try. Put it that way.
Okay.
I'm not just gonna not try. Like I'm going to try. But again,
Mhm.
if you open the door in my house, the cats are running out the door. So it's
Okay.
like the second the door open or a window open, they be fucking gone before any of us.
Mhm, mhm.
Every now and again,
Look
my
at you
cat
trying to find this loophole. I see what's happening here.
there's a there is a loophole where I feel like I feel like if the house is on fire, the cats would be immediately just gone. Whereas the dogs would try to actually alert us as human beings. Like, no, we must alert dearest humans. Where cats would be like, fuck it, everybody for themselves.
So if you
Maybe
if
I
you just
relate
run out
to
of
a
the
cat.
house,
I don't know.
just run out of the house, the dog will follow you.
Yeah, maybe. I hope. Oh no, see my little old lady Freya, with her like her back problems or leg problems, she can't run very fast anymore. So I'm gonna have to pick her up and run her out of the house.
I
would
did
die
see
for
a
that dog.
3-legged cat this weekend, and that was really cute. I'll give it that.
I just want to like send you a bunch of fire extinguishers just so I can sleep tonight.
He's gonna go check his fire alarms. Do
Yeah,
battery test.
Yeah, we're just gonna do a little test.
Before I go to bed, I'm just gonna light a bunch of candles.
I'm
and
gonna
go to
empty
sleep.
the lint trap in your dryer. I'm gonna-
Tonight before I go to bed, I'm turning the stove on. I'm gonna light a bunch of candles, and we're just gonna see what happens.
Just let nature take its course. Yeah.
All
Wait,
right.
I'm
But
trying
think
to
about
prove
what
a point.
happened to the vinyl. I mean, the vinyl. You know, you got to
Yeah, I
protect
say
the vinyl.
We spent a lot of money
Mhm.
on all that.
And see,
Yep.
and I say the cats. I love my vinyl, but I'm gonna say the cats first.
Oh, cats before vinyl.
Yeah, yeah.
We got a
Tough one.
humanitarian of the year over here.
All right. Well, that's been cat advice with Mondo and Rachel.
Apparently, I shouldn't own cats. I don't know.
All
So I
right.
have 2 cats up for adoption. If anybody knows.
There we go. All right. Well, I think that wraps up another episode.
Wait,
Next
wait,
week.
we didn't talk about. Let's talk about beans.
Oh, Rachel, do you want to share your
Didn't-
bean
didn't-
recipe?
Yeah, you can't ask Rachel specifically a recipe about beans and not have her tell the recipe.
That just is more dedication to the gag.
That'd be pretty fucked up, dude.
I know. All right, Rachel, what's your bean recipe?
Well, now I don't feel like you deserve it. This is the best hummus that you've ever had, and you get to go without because you played
I'm
with
asking you to
me.
make it for
You
me.
toyed with my emotions. You made me think about beans. No, it is actually Matilda's, and I will send it to you. You can throw it in the show notes. Although there are some directions that involve the phrase hot bean water. But if you can get past that, it's an excellent recipe for hummus.
Is there chocolate starfish in the hot bean water?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. That's
If
right.
you told Joe Rogan that bean water would hydrate you faster than regular water, he'd definitely be drinking bean water at the gym. I'm just saying.
Oh,
have to-
can we do
yeah.
a plug for pickle pizza?
Oh yeah,
What's
pickle pizza is delicious.
Is
Pickles
that a
on pizza.
place? Oh, I
No.
put potatoes on pizza, and that was delicious.
Oh,
Never had
potatoes are
pickles.
Oh,
good.
interesting.
I was in Phoenixville with Joe Ferry, and I had a pickle pizza, and holy shit!
Really?
Yes.
What sauce was on yours?
I don't remember.
Was it like a white one? Say it was a white sauce, red sauce.
Dude, I was like 6 beers deep. I don't remember.
Well,
I think it was a I don't know, dude. I don't remember.
yeah. So we were talking about this on Slack earlier, and people talking about pickle pizza, and there's like a promo for the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, which is excellent, by the way.
It looked really good. It looked
It's
cute.
really good. I liked it. It's very much like Into the Spider-Verse, but that's a good thing in the good way. But we're talking about that, and actually I was at the county fair a couple weeks ago, and we had pickle pizza. My wife loved it. I had like a bite. I liked it, but I'm like, I can't eat a whole slice of this. But the one bite I had was good.
And what was the sauce situation? Because now
was
I'm
like
as a
a white
pickle
sauce.
lover. I want yeah, because I'm
Which
thinking like even just sort of like a brushed olive oil and garlic would be good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that's how I would eat it. I think the white sauce made it a little too rich. But yeah, I
Mhm.
think like almost like no sauce, or like or pesto, maybe like pesto.
Mm.
When I was in,
You got a
the-
lot of garlic competing. I think.
when I was in the Bay Area, they had at the Alamo Draft House, they have as an appetizer pickle fries.
yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Holy shit! Like,
Yeah.
I absolutely loved those so much. I dream about those fucking things.
Those are killer, and they also have some boozy milkshakes there that
Ooh.
highly recommend.
Woody told me about that, but again, we had just eaten. I was very drunk and a little high, and we're watching Jason 10, and I was like, all I needed was like, give me some greasy food in my stomach, so some greasy pickle fries I can munch on the whole episode. Like, I love milkshakes, but like I can't drink them anymore. But after like 4 or 5 sips, I'm just done. Like I can't do sweets
Yeah.
that well.
The one time
Mhm.
I went to the Alamo Draft House in downtown LA to see Infinity Pool, and they had a orange icicle or creamsicle milkshake, and it was
Mm.
amazing.
Was it a boozy one?
It was not
Yeah.
boozy, but
Oh,
it
that's
was.
a shame. They have a nice heavy pour. And like when I saw it at Alamo Draft House, by the time Pennywise showed up, I was feeling good. Yeah, Alamo Draft House has great food. Like I love their setup. It's so cool. I'm glad you got to go to that one with Whitney, which is where I met her.
Oh, it's on Terror Tuesday.
Yeah, like I randomly I was moderating a movie, like a interview with the
that's
director.
right. She posted about that.
And I
too.
like looked into the audience and I made eye contact with her and I was like, I know that person. I know. It was
That's so
so
cool.
crazy.
It's a small world, and I kind of love it.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
And I've said it before in the podcast. I always stand by it that horror people are just the best people.
Yeah.
I agree.
Like I'm a metalhead, but I don't like most metalheads. Sorry, any metalheads out there. Any metal listeners is probably like, yeah, they probably agree with me when I said that.
They
Because
hate
you ever go
themselves.
to,
That's okay.
if you ever go to a metal show, like you meet a wide gamut of people, and some of the people are not good people. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. The Bay Area metal scene's pretty good, but I do know exactly what you're talking about. Like it is maybe an anomaly how good it is here.
Well, when I went to that Ludacris show, it was Ludacris, Death Grave, and Funeral Chant. Bay Area bands.
Show?
Death Grave and Funeral Chant. Ludacris. The crowd was so much. The crowd is so awesome. It was a bunch of just like, it was a harmonious place with people having a good time listening to metal. There was no fights. When I went out to Wyoming for that metal fest in the middle of nowhere, same thing. Just the fucking vibes there, just beautiful. I was having a great time. Someone lost their hat in the pit. Everyone stops so the guy could find his hat. Like cool stuff like that. But I'll go to shows here in Las Vegas and be like, well, I've been here for 8 minutes. I'm going home.
Yeah. I wonder if that's because the influx of so many people who are from out of town. You know what I mean? Where it's not like a community where people see each other all the time. Because like here, the metal scene's not that big. So like it's all the same people going to the shows, you know?
The hard part about Vegas is that so many people work in the hospitality industry and we're 24-hour town. So like back when I was younger and didn't have a 9-to-5 job, I missed so many shows. I don't get off work till 9 or I don't get off work till midnight that night. I think a lot of that's what it is here is why a lot of shows don't get support from locals. Not because locals don't want to go because it's just midnight on a Wednesday. You get off work at midnight on a Wednesday, you can't go to a show that started at 11 or whatever. That's what makes it tough here. And here it's like, and here the shows aren't even that bad, but like I've gone to shows back east and I mean, you went to one show, ended up being half Nazis. It was bad. It was bad. Like fucking like this is not a crowd I want to be around or be associated with or I mean, I was openly talking shit to him, which was kind of fun, but
yeah, that is definitely something you're not really going to get a lot of in thankfully.
The Bay Area, like I said, the Bay Area is a cool place. The bands historically that have come out of the Bay Area, like especially modern metal bands, they get a lot of shit again from the Norwegians and stuff like that because they're too like they're into the earth and stuff like that. It's like fucking cares. Like it's one guy was burning churches and guess what? He's a fucking racist. Like, right? He's not the guy you should be idolizing. He was a rich kid from an affluent family that just wanted to be a rebel. Stop fucking worshiping the asshole.
I am sad because like that's immediately what everybody thinks of. Like when they think of black metal, you know, that don't know, they're just like Barg. Like you like Barg? No.
I mean, I'll say anyone that played in a metal band or anyone that got in the genre listened to Burzum and was influenced by it. I think that's 100% true. Doesn't mean you have to fucking like the guy or spend money on his records or buy his. I guess he does some tables. So someone made a fake account for him on Twitter, which is like the funniest thing ever because they just took clips from his YouTube videos of him like in fighting poses and like they post like me off to fight Antifa and just shit. Like it was like the funniest stuff. And but I guess like they wrote the rules to his RPG that he wrote it on RPG, and they did it in the style of the South Park Scientology episode. Every paragraph was like, yes, these are really the rules, and yes, we haven't even scratched the like rule number 1 yet. We haven't finished rule number 1 yet. Like, he's a fun guy to clown on now.
Yeah, he makes it pretty easy. All right, it's poor Jason's been trying to wrap up this episode. I'm so sorry. I just don't get to see you guys that often.
Jason's on the West Coast. It's fine. It's 10:02.
Yeah.
I need my beauty rest.
What time do you normally go to bed at, Jason?
Well, I get in bed and I just lay there like wide awake, thinking about all the things I need to do.
So you can spend time with your friends, quality time, recording a podcast, or you can lay in bed thinking about all the things you need to do. One sounds fun. One sounds pretty fucking lame.
I'm a lame guy. What can I say?
This is true.
So here's my question for you, Jason. Now that you have your first tattoo, everyone knows it is a gateway tattoo. It is a slippery slope. Are you already planning your next tattoo? And if so, what is it?
Nope. maybe ask me in like 6 months. I'm still like it was not like feeling an itchy experience. My wife loved getting her tattoos. She just got her second one a couple weeks ago, and then her tattoo artist posted that she's trying to complete I guess it's a big thing in tattoo communities right now to complete the Pokedex. So to like tattoo every Pokemon of like the original like 150 or whatever, so they run specials.
That's funny.
Oh.
So she's already like, so I think this weekend she's gonna get one. Like less than 2 weeks after she got her last tattoo, she's gonna get her favorite Pokemon tattooed. Possibly.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
Yeah, what's the Pokemon?
Snorlax.
Oh, Snorlax is cute.
Yeah. So, she's like all about it. She's like was totally into it. Like to me, it felt like going to the dentist. I did not love it.
No, I like it because I like my tattoo artists. And I love the finish. But I said last time too, there is a point whenever we get a tattoo where I'm sitting there at some point going like, why the fuck am I doing this?
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck am I letting this man carve me up with a needle?
Yeah, that's how I was like 90% of the experience.
And then like when my back one was healing, I couldn't even like reach it like to like just even slap it. That was miserable.
Yeah. So my wife forgot to tell me that she's gonna need my help to clean and moisturize her tattoo. So I was helping her and everything, and eventually, like I wasn't there all the time, or when she needed to put the lotion on, so she got a spatula.
Yeah, it's smart.
Put some on the end and just like.
I think I had a paint stirrer that I took from Home Depot, like a long one, just to put the lotion on.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Put your lotion on your skin.
or else it gets the hooze again.
Yes.
You'll get more eventually. Yeah, you might. I don't know.
I probably will. Yeah, I'm definitely my first one I wanted to get originally was a Frankenstein tattoo. So I'm still kind of want to get that one at some point, but let's let this one literally sink in first.
Yeah, you haven't got to the itchy phase yet. That's the fun.
Yeah. Rachel, do you have any tattoos?
I do not have any tattoos. I
Are
do
you
not.
not
I'm
a
like
needle
the
person?
last person here. I just like have never found anything that I really, really wanted that badly. And then now it's almost become like a thing where like everybody else has tattoos except for me.
Mhm.
So who's the rebel now?
Yeah, no, I kind of think it's actually really cool. I think it's really cool. And I always like, I don't know, like I know people like when I was in high school, at least back in the when I graduated 01, like everyone was getting like a tribal armband or getting like some kind of everything. Because again, you're younger, right? I fault no one who was 16 or 17 and got a tribal armband. I get it. Like you just want a
Everybody got
tattoo
one.
bad, but everyone's getting tattoos and
Yep.
I was just kind of like, fuck, dude. I like my first tattoo was my sigil of Bath on my arm. And then but then like I kind of wish I'd have waited till I met this awesome tattoo artist. It was all my awesome, like did my whole chest and did my thigh and did my back. But like don't people out there, man, don't just get a tattoo because you think you need to have one. Like you said, you gotta get some of that. I like Jason saw that Crypt Keeper. I was like, oh man, I really want that tattoo.
It took me a year to figure to even like when I actively invited the idea of getting a tattoo. It took me a year to finally find the one that was like, okay, that's it right there.
Right. And you're going to love it forever. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's going to be meaningful forever. I think if I had gotten a tattoo when I was younger, I would have a butterfly on like above my butt crack. Like
Right.
I would have. I would have. Like I was like, that is a really cool idea. I should do that also, and thank God I didn't. And so I don't know. At some point I might get something meaningful tattooed on my body, but like as of right now, there's nothing I really want that bad.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think that's perfect. Like I don't think people should get tattoos because they think they need to have one. Like no, you don't.
Yeah.
Like just have your fucking plain skin. It's totally fine. It looks cool. Like there's nothing wrong with it.
Not that I don't love
Boring,
tattoos.
plain
I
skin.
love tattoos. I think they're beautiful. I think it's art. And I follow tattoo artists on Pinterest, or not Pinterest, Instagram, and also on Pinterest. But like it's not that I'm anti-tattoo. I just haven't had that the moment where you're like, that's the one. That's
Mhm.
the one I want.
Exactly. And it's totally cool. I love that because I wouldn't, if I was getting tattoos when I was 16, I'd have some stupid shit.
Oh,
You have like a Tasmanian devil smoking a joint or something.
I would have done that. But I would have gotten like a band logo done and be like, oh shit, they're racist. I need to get that removed now. Like
So there's a podcast called I think it's the Munster Party podcast, and they have the coolest logo that I kind of want to get tattooed, but I feel weird about getting another podcast logo where it's Godzilla wearing a tiki shirt, like a Hawaiian shirt, like with like a
cool.
bong in one hand. I can't remember what's in the other one, but it's the coolest looking logo. I'm like, that would be a cool fucking tattoo.
Yeah, you shouldn't, unless of course it's the Zombie Grrlz tattoo. Then I
There
fully endorse it.
But I just want to go to California. I'm gonna have a wild night out with Jason. Jason's gonna wake up with a tattoo on his head.
Yes.
What tattoo should I get on my head? Like, I don't know. I don't even know. That sounds so painful too.
Like it's a Bam Bam Bigelow had. He had the flames, but he was a
There we
pro
go.
wrestler though, so it worked, I guess.
Just get like a full crown of thorns. Like,
I do like that.
Oh
brain
my god, as
tattoo.
a Jewish man too. Like, holy shit.
Oh
would that
my
be-
god. I'll just get a kippah tattooed on my
Yeah. I was like, the yarmulke tattoo.
yarmulke tattoo. Oh my god. That's terrible.
Get a yarmulke tattoo and then cover up with a ball cap. So when you go to temple, you just pull the ball cap off and you have your yarmulke tattoo.
Oh my god.
See, we're just modern problems require modern solutions, Jason.
You'd always be ready at any time. Like it
Yep.
could be 3 a.m. on a Wednesday. I guess Jason's going to temple, and you can be like, "Yep."
Bam.
I mean, it'd probably be just as easy to carry a yarmulke in your pocket, but still, we're talking
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think you should do it. Just saying, like just.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
We'll make a $100,000 Patreon tier, and if someone pays for that, Jason, would you get the yarmulke tattoo?
Oh, I even know. It just sounds like the worst possible place.
First of all, is it illegal to put up $100,000 tier on
I
Patreon?
don't think so. The only question is would he be required to split it 3 ways? Would he actually only be
I'll
getting...
create a personal cash app. How about that?
Here's what I will here's what I say. We should do a $100,000 Patreon tier. Patreon people who are rich, hear me out. For the $100,000, I will give my body up if you'll give yours up and Jody give his up too. Not like that. But you can pick the fucking tattoo. I'll get it anywhere you fucking want me to get it. For $100,000,
You're getting a Tasmanian devil with a joint.
I can think of much worse than that.
For $100,000, wherever they want me to put it at, just not in my face.
Okay, we need to wrap this episode up, please.
Never.
This
This is your life now.
gonna do,
You're
like,
in
one of
a
those
Tales from the
24
Crypt episode.
Or should we do like one of those 24-hour castathons?
Mhm.
Lose our minds.
Jason's gonna wake up in a dead sweat in the middle of the night and still think he's on the podcast.
I'm still within the podcast on the podcast within the podcast.
Blood dripping from his microphone.
Mhm.
A
Mhm.
weird sex demon.
How come no
tentacles
one's
coming-
done that yet?
What a podcast horror movie?
Yeah, where like blood is dripping out of the microphone. Come on.
Mhm.
Because well, it would make sense.
Blood podcast. Blood microphone.
it-
Bloodcast.
The
I
microphone that
couldn't-
dripped blood.
I couldn't deal with the microphone that dripped blood. Like
Okay,
Death-
now
like
I
Death
actually am
Bed.
in on this. Like, I want a short film called "The Microphone That Dripped Blood." Yes, okay, Patreon tier. What do we? What are you
crowdfund.
gonna?
I want a microphone that I don't want to drip blood. I want to aggressively shoot blood out of it. And here's how I want this 2-minute movie to go. I want Jason doing the podcast and rambling blood. Just like blah, just start shooting him in the face. And it's him going, it's getting railed in the face by fucking by blood.
And then I wake up and the real nightmare is I forgot to use the bathroom before we start recording. And I've been trying to get off the microphone the entire time so I can use the bathroom. Because I'm old.
I mean, Jason, we can't see you underneath like your chest. You could totally just pee
That's
and we don't
true.
even know. If you had like a Gatorade bottle laying on your desk or a bucket,
That's
You could
the
be
prob-
in the bathroom. We don't know.
That's
yeah,
the problem
like-
with having a good microphone, though. You might hear
you have a mute button on that motherfucker. Like, you know that.
it.
Slap the P noise gate on there. You'll be good to
Okay.
go.
You've gone way off the deep end.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir. You invited me to come back.
I know. Every
You
time.
reap what you sow, sir.
And now I'm thinking like now I'm always thinking like I wonder how many times I've been in a Zoom meeting and someone's just fucking peeing like on the meeting. Like,
Oh my god. Yeah.
God damn it. Zoom meeting is the worst that happened in the pandemic was a Zoom meeting. Like fucking everyone wants to fucking be on camera nowadays.
Ugh. The worst. Don't-
Let's turn our
don't watch
cameras
us.
on. Like,
Don't
No.
watch us on YouTube, please.
no, this is fine because I like our listeners. But well, I don't give a shit. I don't need to talk to some consultant and see his face. Like, well, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna remember your face when I meet you. We'll just meet sometime. It's fine.
Okay. We really need to wrap up this episode or else I'm going to explode. Next week.
Hold on a second. That'd be good content as well. We could just literally
the
explode.
Patreon.
I
Jason
wouldn't
loses his
mind.
bladder.
Podcaster who squirted baby.
The podcaster who squirted blood. Yes. I'd imagine first of all your head would start bubbling like these guys a little weird, like what the fuck's happening to Jason? It'd be like a scanner scene, but it'd be blood just squirting out like spontaneous combustion instead of fire.
The podcaster got a UTI. All right,
If
Rachel,
5
thank you
years from
so
now-
much for coming on. Tell people where they can find you.
Thank you, and I apologize.
Don't apologize. Don't apologize.
You can find me everywhere on all the platforms. Zombie Grrlz Podcast Network. Check out More Deadly, Stream Queens, the Untitled Nick Cage Show. What am I forgetting? Cast of Caw, all of the above. As far as what we've got coming up, we've got some really fun interviews coming up this month. For our More Deadly, we interviewed, because of the writer's strike, fortunately we were able to talk to a couple of directors. We talked to Stuart Thorndike, whose film Bad Things comes out this week.
Ooh.
I think, I'm not sure exactly when this episode drops, but it either just came out or it's coming out, as well as Laura Moss, the director of Birth Rebirth, which is in theaters on August 18th. So I think also technically this Friday. I don't know when the episode drops, but those are really great.
It'll be on Sunday.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. So those will just have come out. They're both really interesting films, especially Birth Rebirth. Nobody's talking about it, but that thing is wildly transgressive and really, really interesting. So check those out if you are so inclined and you want some more of this. I probably shouldn't be plugging my shows after my showing this evening. I should be going under a pseudonym. My name is Raquel. I have no association with Zombie Grrlz.
Shatto.
I broke into the studio here. They don't even know me. Disown me, everyone.
All right. Well, we're going to be covering next week John Carpenter's Body Bags. We appreciate everyone for listening. We really appreciate if you'll give us a rating review on iTunes, a rating on Spotify, and check out our YouTube for videos of these podcasts. And with that, we thank you for listening to Tales From The Crypt.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Follow Dads from the Crypt on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or I will follow you to the grave. No, seriously, you really should watch. But be careful what you ask for. You may get it.